This recording is to give you some information to help you with preparation for your RO61 exam. The research brief has been given to you and you should have been preparing based on fireworks and firework company. The information that we've been given in the research brief is that it is just a firework company, but you will be given a name and possibly details about the company when you get to the main exam. So you will then have a name to refer to rather than just the firework company. Notice it's given you a context of the business specialising in the provision of public firework displays, so it's not selling, as far as we know from this information, directly to the public, but it is selling for celebrations such as Diwali, New Year and the 5th of November. Now, one of the things to think about is that it's suggesting that all of their business at the moment is done in the winter and certain months of the year. Therefore, a question on cash flow and the impact of having a seasonal business could be something which is relevant to this particular type of firework company. We're then given some information about the objectives that the company has. We're told that the business wants to increase sales, profit and market share. And it's going to do this by developing a wider range of products and services which would be tailor-made for private and corporate events. So first of all, questions that you could get which are to do with the objectives of the company. Questions in the past have related to how their objectives might have changed over time. So start-up businesses tend to have objectives which are to do with surviving and breaking even. This company is obviously more established and therefore has different objectives. You might be asked about how different objectives which they might have in the future. We also need to focus on the fact that some of the events, the new products, are going to be tailor-made for private and corporate events. So it's important that you understand that tailor-made events are going to be one-off, which is why you might want to think about job production methods. And if it's private, we're talking about parties, anniversaries, proms, weddings. And if it says corporate events, they're business events. So it might be launching of new products. It could be something where they're entertaining other businesses. The main thing to think about is that these tailor-made products they can charge a higher price for. Next section is finance. Now, we've been given information about the fact that they need to raise money to invest in research and development of new products for use in the new markets, that the board of directors is considering ways to raise this finance. So there will be a question which is about ways in which they could raise the finance for investing in research and development. So you need to know the advantages and disadvantages of bank loans, selling shares, selling more shares. Because it has a board of directors, it will be a limited liability company, and retained profits. You need to be able to talk about the advantages and disadvantages of each of those methods. Think about the costs, think about if you're sharing the fact that there will be more votes, how that might impact on the business. Next section is marketing. Now, we know that the business needs to create awareness for these new products and services, and this is these tailor-made products and services. So they're one-off specifics going to the private and corporate event market. So we know it already has a well-developed website. You need to be able to discuss other methods of promotion. So think about what would be suitable for these markets. Think about brochures, think about specialist magazines. I suspect a lot of events are organised through events companies, so how might you get contacts with them? Personal approaches. It's not going to be appropriate to necessarily put adverts on radio, but you might look at weddings being in particular magazines, so think carefully. It says it's already got a well-developed website, which is an obvious method of promotion, but you might want to discuss, if the question allows, how they might develop the website further or use the website. But you need to check to see whether it's suggesting other methods than the website. In terms of production, we know that it produces all of the products at 3 factories in the UK. Supplies of raw materials and other resources are purchased from other businesses in the UK, but also from as far away as China. Now, questions that they could possibly ask you here are to do with the fact that they have 3 factories. So what might be the benefits and costs of operating on 3 sites? Might they decide that one site would be better? The resources and raw materials to go towards the firework displays are coming from the UK and China. So again, you might be looking at the advantages and disadvantages of buying from the UK and for China. So think about lead times, think about the costs. The final section we've been given information from is about human resources. Business employs full-time employees who manufacture the products and set up the displays, but they also employ a number of part-time and temporary employees to meet this seasonal demand. The business has to ensure that all of its employees are highly skilled. Make sure you understand the definitions between full-time employees, part-time and temporary employees. Look at the advantages of employing temporary employees, particularly in terms of seasonal demand, looking at costs, meeting that level of demand, what the full-time employees do, the fact that all of them have to be highly skilled. That suggests that you need to be answering questions about training of employees, methods of training them. So you've been given a lot of information and clues as to the type of questions which could be coming up. Make sure that you've thought and practiced, because there are questions which are available to you on each of these areas, so that you're fully prepared and you can make sure that your answers are very specific to this firework company that you've been told information about in the research brief.